Okay, so we each got chat in hand. You can see us. We can see you. This is
West Coast Adventure, us too. Cheers to everyone that's having a
let me get my
bevy.
drinks, and then we can.
Should we just? I think we should drink everything out of the club mesh
Yo,
glasses, even the White Claw.
Miss Ninja's so hype on life that I feel like all she's doing is enabling debauchery.
Yeah, I mean, it's my first time in front of another human being in a very long time.
It's true. It's a momentous occasion. We've got our friends in the chat.
So cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers to you guys.
Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for being down with the weirdness.
So I'm DJ Lani Love. This is DJ Miss Ninja. I think we've got friends from both chats. We're both DJs and streamers. It's really kind of amazing how we were able to connect during this time. So both of us are DJs in LA, working DJs. And what I mean by that is that we have some really great gigs that are fun and glamorous. But we also have gigs that are just like sweat and tears. So we really have kind of done the whole gamut of whole spectrum of gigs. And with quarantine happening, shelter in place back in March, both of us were kind of forced to pivot, which is what brought us here to Twitch, to you. And I think for both of us, it's been a really amazing journey. One that no one saw coming because no one saw the pandemic coming. But also, I don't think we ever envisioned ourselves being able to work or share music or even DJ without a large audience in front of us, right? Without a in-person gathering.
Well, so for me, I've been watching Twitch for 5 years or so. My husband's a big dork. I'm a video game nerd. So I had been wanting to stream on Twitch for so long, but just like Lani, like our schedules were just crazy. Like she was always DJing, I was always DJing. So I was doing like something between like 25 to 30 events a month. And a lot of them were gaming tournaments. So I've been in the gaming world for a long time. And I kept asking the universe, I'm like, I want some time so I can like start live streaming. Right. And I didn't really want it to happen this way.
Right.
But the universe
made
it so.
You actually bring up a good point. So I think what's really fun about having Miss Ninja come in and chat with us, like she and I definitely have a fair amount in common, but we also have really different backgrounds and perspectives. So I feel like for anyone who's curious about what happens behind the scenes, you'll hear from two, different point of views. Before pandemic, we did know each other, but
it's not my fault.
We didn't know each other as well.
Guys, they're all saying it's my fault.
What's your fault?
The pandemic started.
Oh,
it's your fault.
I didn't realize
you willed us onto Twitch, whether you knew it or not. This is your fault, guys. And don't tell me you're not enjoying it.
Well, so if you caused it, can you take it all away, please?
Yeah. I think mid 2021.
Okay. But yeah, so like Miss Ninja, I knew of Twitch before the pandemic, but I tried it once. I streamed once about 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like, this is not for me. It's weird. Like there's a camera in front of me for 30 minutes. Like just me. This is strange. So I tried it once. I streamed to my friend Matt, who told me to stream, and my sister for half an hour, and I was like, never again. But then the pandemic happened, and my friend Liz was like, I am so bored and I'm so sad. Please stream. And she kept pushing me to. So I think it was the second week of the pandemic that I hopped onto Twitch. And I initially planned to do it for like 4 days, and I was like, and that will be that, and we should be out of this, but here we are. Yeah.
Same with me, actually. The reason I started live streaming was because I saw so many of my friends on Facebook. They were all getting really like sad and depressed, and a lot of people, our whole lives were turned upside down. And a lot of my friends have children. I don't have children, but a lot of my friends do, and they weren't having a lot of like adult time. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to do a couple live streams like for the kids. So the parents can put their kids like in front of the TV and let them dance for an hour and like wear themselves out and put themselves to sleep.
Right.
And then I was going to do some live streams just for my adult friends where we could like get down like we used to, back in, in our party days.
Yeah.
And, I really thought it was going to last for couple weeks.
Right. I mean, that's kind of what the headlines were and what all the experts were saying. Like, let's flatten the curve. I'll put on a face mask, stay home, and then we'll resume life. But that's obviously not how things are playing out. But I will say I'm just like really grateful for our communities, because having good people in our chat, our discords, has really helped me stay, I think, not only positive, but just I feel sane, because I know other people are, there's something about like the shared experience. And it's also like so fun to meet people from different cities, states, even countries.
Well, I always tell everyone, like, DJ life is so weird because you're around so many people all the time, but you're in a DJ booth by yourself, like a lot. So back when I was doing a lot of gigs, it was fun, but I was actually pretty lonely. And this is the least lonely I've ever felt in my life, because while I'm DJing, we're all cracking jokes. We're dancing with plants, like all this crazy stuff that you could obviously never get away with in a nightclub. I get to do that with our audience.
Right. Well, I think that what's kind of cool about streaming is we get to invite you, the chat, and our viewers into the DJ booth in a way that we could never do at an in-person gig. So it's almost like we just have a really big VIP booth, right? Like normally at a real life gig, you have enough room for one or two other friends. Maybe it's a big event, so you have a stage, but it's still like 5 homies tops. But now we have like a couple hundred friends in the booth with us.
We have 200 friends in our VIP booth right now.
Is it?
How great is that?
That's awesome.
Isn't that amazing? You're all VIPs, by the way.
So let's talk about how you got set up. Like, it will be fun to kind of compare. You're seeing my studio now in person. How does it compare in person versus what you see on screen? Well,
it's so different actually. And I know you've seen mine too. And the amount of like space compared to what I have, it's like a shock, right?
Right.
But it's so like open and airy, and I see now why you dance around so much. The space just makes you want to dance around.
So she's making it sound like it's huge. It's not that big of a room.
To what I have,
but compared to what she have, it's very generous. So are you okay sharing what your setup is?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, so let's hear about what your setup is. What does that
All right, so like I totally had to pivot so did you. We had to like pivot and figure this ish out. So I had my DJ gear all set up against a wall in my bedroom, like mine and my husband's bedroom. It was against the wall.
It's truly against the wall, guys. So she told me it's in the bedroom, and I was like, I mean, we're all kind of using bedrooms to DJ. And I saw her space just last week, and let me tell you, it works because she's fun size.
It's true. The two of us in there would be super, super cramped.
It'd be snug.
But we should still do it.
Right.
So anyway, what I decided to do was push everything out about like 1.5 feet and just set it up that way. So luckily I have a husband that's he's very into Twitch. He's a giant nerd. We have an upstairs bedroom, but like we reserved that for guests and for production. And I didn't want to move my decks out of the bedroom. I just love having my decks close by. So when wake up in the morning, I can just like jump on. So anyway, I pushed all my stuff forward. I had some uplights that I barely ever used on gigs. I'm like, let's throw that in there.
Right.
And I had a Canon because I studied graphic and web design. So I had a camera and I just put it on a tripod and boom, ready to go. And I had to like basically bootleg everything together.
Yeah.
I had to find because nobody could find HDMI video capture cards. At that point.
I think everything got back ordered maybe 2 weeks into the pandemic. Everyone's like, shoot, I'm going to live stream, or I'm, doing conference calls. So webcams were back ordered for months, and a premium.
Everything.
Like
sound cards.
Right. Because Logitech webcams were not a hot commodity. I think they were like $30 and not moving. And then the pandemic happened, and it was like, hey, you can get one on eBay for $300.
I'm sure Elgato's stock is like through the roof.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So anyway, I just piecemealed everything that I happened to collect over my like 12 years of DJing full time. And I figured out a way to make it work. And little by little, I've been improving the stream through like the generosity of every one of the viewers through like bits and subscriptions. Like I've just been able to build up the stream to something that like is worthy of you guys. So honestly, like I think Lani and I both like couldn't be more grateful for what you've allowed us to do.
Totally. And just so Miss Ninjas can see my setup. There's literally my laptop's propped up on an outdoor stool with like 2 shoe boxes, a book. There's a selfie stick taped to the wall with a cotton swab behind it.
I didn't even see
but
that before.
It's kind of a temporary setup, but the temporary's been a little bit longer than we expected, but it works. And, you know, as a DJ and, you know, aspiring producer, I think both of us kind of collect a lot of cables. It's like a natural part of the job because the one cable you don't have is the cable that you need. But it's so funny. I swear, in February, I was starting to organize my cables and I was like, I gotta lighten the load. There's too much junk here. And then the pandemic happened and it was like every cable I never thought I would use, I'm using. Like
every
cable,
every piece of gear, like
everything. Like
everything.
This is an old iPhone that I use as my second camera. When you guys see my turntables, this is that camera attached to a free selfie stick.
I think the best thing about your setup is it really goes to show that no matter what you have, you
Right.
can make an amazing stream because you're like the queen of Twitch.
No.
And you're using 2 iPhones.
Yeah.
You know, and you're using whatever you had.
Right. And I think
there's no limit. I feel like a lot of people limit themselves and they're
Right.
just like, oh, I can't because this. I can't because this.
Exactly. So one of the reasons why I wanted to do this chat with Miss Ninja is I felt like if we shared our experiences, it could hopefully, if anyone was feeling kind of, you know, a little bit reluctant or tepid about, you know, hopping onto Twitch, for you to feel empowered to do it. And if you're not a streamer, you're viewing, but you're curious about what goes on behind the scenes, I thought this might be a fun sneak peek behind the curtain. And me stumbling over my words, that's the mezcal. So thank you for that.
Hey, that's not my fault. That's your production department's fault.
That's true. Production, you're fired. So yeah. Okay. So there was a question from the chat. Do we make a living? I am fortunate enough that I am very good at budgeting. I have been a freelancer for the past 5 years, so I am making ends meet. How does it compare to before? It's not the same, and I'm not expecting it to be. I'm just very grateful to be able to pay my bills. Like, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I would say I'm making probably like 1/4 or 1/5 of what I was making before pandemic.
Right.
And I'm doing probably like 4 times more work.
Yeah, we're both doing more work. But
I will say I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
So I was kind of, before pandemic, I was getting really, really exhausted from like running around, catching flights. You were flying to Chicago every other day.
Yeah.
You know, like airplanes. It sounds so glamorous, but guys, it's like exhausting, packing, unpacking, dealing with TSA, like all of this stuff, or like driving on the 405 during rush hour traffic. I was really getting burned out. So when people are like, how do you DJ for so long? Why did you DJ for 9 hours? It's like, well, I was already working like 12 to 18 hour days before pandemic. And now I get to dedicate it all to like having fun with friends online and to the music instead of all the other stuff that was exhausting. So while like maybe the income level is significantly lower, my enjoyment of this is like through the roof.
That's true. I think that really kind of reflects how I feel too. Like before, I mean, I think if you're a freelancer and ambitious, like both of us are, you're going to end up working all the time, no matter the scenario. Because at the beginning of this pandemic, I was like, I like this pace of life. It's working. Like I have time to reflect and
Sunset walks.
I'm really creative. And I still feel like I get time to be creative, but I'm also literally working all the time. But I guess, you know, old habits die hard. The nice thing is not having to drive mobile gigs, like sometimes having to bring all your gear and cables, which we talked about, and then dealing with traffic. There's like a lot of anxiety that happens with that. So in some ways, I'm grateful that when I have problems or something streaming to Twitch, at least it's in my home and whatever I need is hopefully within reach.
Well, that's actually like a good talking point. You know, having like breakdowns on Twitch when things start falling apart, for me, it's actually become really fun because you guys make it so funny when there are problems on stream that now when things actually like start to go south, it's not even stressful anymore.
Right.
It's actually just hilarious.
Yeah, I think so. It's funny. I figured out the issue was just a bad USB cable, which is so frustrating. But for a while, I had maybe a handful of streams where the music would glitch. And to the audience, they thought maybe I pressed a button or something incorrectly. But on my side, I'm like, is my computer about to die? But, with it happening kind of routinely, I got to a point where I was kind of like, it is what it is. And I even had my whole freaking Serato crash in the middle of a stream for Dash Radio.
It's happened like 5 times for me. They all know though now if my Serato crashes, they get to hear something off of Violator. I pull out my favorite Depeche Mode album.
Oh,
so every time they know they get to look forward to Depeche Mode when my Serato crashes.
Yeah, so I had like some disco records nearby that I just reached for, and it was like watching the playback. I realized how little time had actually passed, but in that moment,
it feels like an hour.
The silence is deafening.
It's crazy. Oh, there's a quick question here. Describe our home gear versus our mobile gear. So when I do mobile gigs, I have to bring out speakers. I try to not do so many mobile gigs, but I love DJing, so
Yeah.
if I have to, I have to. But yeah, I have to bring out speakers that I can barely lift. I have to like make sure I work out just so I can lift my speakers.
I know. Freaking QSC K12's amazing sound.
so great.
Miss Ninja's actually sitting right next to one now. They're so great, but they are like probably just 5 pounds heavier than my ideal mass to lift. So right before I lift it, I have to literally take a deep breath and I'm like,
I can only lift
we
it
go.
halfway, and then I have to set up my table first, so I
and
can
then
lift
use
it
the table as a
halfway,
booster. Yeah, same.
Use the table and then like get the second boost up.
So
So
that's an example of where I'm like, it's so fun talking to Miss Ninja because we can relate in that way.
because we're like the same size, guys.
Yeah.
She's like an inch taller than me.
Also, maybe we should have you lift your seat just a hair. There's a
how do
little
I do
handle
that?
on the other
Other
side.
side.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want to get really tall.
Yeah, get a little-
That's the wrong way.
There we go. There we go.
Better.
But yeah, with in-person gigs, I feel like, I don't know about your experience, but there are some brands where I am a big deal, right? And those gigs are the best. They pay well. They sometimes send a black car to pick you up. They give you clothes. They drop you off. Amazing. And there are other gigs where they're like, we have no budget.
They treat you like the help.
Yeah, they're like rude. I don't know.
Okay, I'll tell you this much:
Yeah.
the low budget gigs are the ones that ask for the most.
Right.
The most.
Right.
So I actually, at some point, I was like, you know what? It's not even worth it. I'm not
Yeah.
going to do that anymore.
So I think I want us to stay focused and
Live
talking
streaming.
about streaming, but I will, at the end, we can jump more into the specifics of our mobile setups. I will say that in the past year or so, I've been doing fewer mobile gigs just because, every time you do a mobile gig, it's wear and tear on your gear. It's wear and tear on your body. And I hurt myself with one of my gigs. So I was like, I got to figure out a new way forward. So,
I'm happy to not have to wear high heels anymore.
oh,
I haven't worn high heels since March.
I have so many heels. I'm scared that I won't know how to wear them.
I'm going to
anymore
walk like
after.
a newborn horse
Yeah.
when I wear heels again.
Did we just get a raid? Yeah, we
Did we?
did. A little, it's, the homie, Bounce Castle.
Bounce
Welcome.
Castle, bounce. What's up, Bounce Castle?
It's
You
my
walked
friend
into-
Nick. Bounce Castle's an
We love
amazing
Bounce
DJ, by the way. Another very resourceful individual. We DJ'd together in real life quite a bit, and he is the DJ that taught me to have gaff tape in my DJ bag. And it's so handy. You can tape anything with gaff tape. So let's talk about our streaming setups. As you guys will see, both of us have S9s and a couple of Technique 1200s, which is like kind of the, I would say, industry
standard
Yeah, it's like the
for the industry?
industry standard as far as
At least for like
turntables.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now like there's the new stuff, but like these are like, I feel like you could drop a bomb in here and those will survive.
Yeah. And then there are people who use CDJs, which that can be a whole discussion, but there's, as far as a Serato DJ setup, I will say, I love having an S9. It's my favorite mixer.
It's my favorite mixer on the planet.
The layout is amazing. It's not as sturdy as Rain mixers. Rains, I feel like, are tanks.
Really? I feel like it's super solid.
I think it's a little bit lighter and
It is
more
lighter.
plasticky than I expected.
But you know what? I put mine through hell and it's still rocking.
Okay.
And I remember when I first got my S9, all these DJs were like, "Oh, that mixer sucks." Blah 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 blah.
No.
But then it was because it's expensive, right? It's an
Yeah.
expensive mixer. And then as soon as everyone got their hands on it, they're like, "This is the best mixer."
I mean, the layout and functionality alone like make it worth it to me. I just feel like I feel like some other mixers feel a little sturdier.
What did you have
but-
before this? I had the 57.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so we've been on the same gear for a while.
Yeah. So that's the gear that you see. And then as far as streaming setup, so I have one laptop that I use to DJ and one laptop to stream. And I think yours is the same? Two laptops?
Yeah, I'm very lucky because I've been DJing for Acer and Predator Gaming for 5 years. So as a Christmas present, they sent me a Concept D. It's like a gaming and creator's laptop. So it's got like this insanely fast processor. And I never used it before pandemic. And as soon as pandemic hit and I tried to live stream off my 2012 Mac, and it just couldn't hack it, I was like, holy crap, I have this other laptop I haven't touched.
So that's so funny that you mentioned that because I was using an old 2012 laptop to stream before the newer one that you see now. So my dad bought a MacBook and like some boomers, they buy tech that they don't know how to use. So it was sitting there and I was like, hey, do you mind if I use this laptop to stream? So now I have my DJ laptop, which is actually older than my streaming laptop. I will say that PCs, as far as streaming goes, better value. You get just more everything. And a lot of streaming software and plugins are for PC only. But if you have a Mac, it will certainly work. It does a trick. That's what I've got.
Especially PC gaming laptops. Like if you are going to buy a separate computer for live streaming, I highly recommend a good gaming laptop because they have faster video. Their video cards just like usually top of the line.
Right.
You know, and they have the top of the line processors.
Right. And, Dial Jess mentioned same thing. So she had a 2012 MacBook as well that she was streaming off of. Like it works. I think you just have to really make a lot of adjustments, like removing things that in the background and upgrading some things in the computer itself if you can't afford to. Now she's got a PC that she streams off of. And then I will say like the graphics card, I think is where you notice the biggest difference, like you just mentioned.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Having you have to have like a good NVIDIA graphics card because that's what keeps like up with you basically. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, so a graphics card basically affects the quality of the video image that you see. So a lot of times with gamers, they really need a great graphics card because
any lag time will like ruin your ability to like to like snipe or whatever you're doing. If you're playing like Fortnite, like if you have a bad graphics card.
Yeah. I feel like with DJ streams, you can get away with a little bit more because, it's a spinning vinyl record and it's a DJ maybe dancing with a plant. Like it's okay if there's not a 60 frames per second rate. I have mine set at 30 because that's
same.
Okay.
Mine actually looked more fuzzy when I had it 60.
Yeah.
So 30, if again, we're getting really nerdy now, but if you are doing your setup in OBS or Streamlabs, you may think 60 FPS is going to improve the way your stream looks, but it actually made mine much grainier.
Yeah.
So as soon as I went down to like 30 FPS, the grain went away.
Yeah. So we can hop down the wormhole of like specific settings on our Discord. But what I will say is that, yes, visuals are important. But I think if you had to say what is the most important element of a stream, it's definitely audio quality.
100%.
And if you think about it, as a viewer, how many times have you tuned into a stream, walked away, but let it play like the music, right? The music's still playing. You're not watching it. It's fine. You don't even know what's happening on camera. But how often would you watch a stream just seeing visuals with no audio or bad audio even? So if you had, obviously, ideally you have both be amazing.
Do you have an external sound card?
I use audio interface you see right there, the Scarlett.
I don't even see it.
Oh, it's the blinking thing, the red thing.
Oh, okay. Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I was lucky enough right when pandemic started. I think I kind of like got in before everyone like completely ransacked Amazon. And
Yeah.
I got a Zoom U24. It was $100. And this little sound card is like it's like such a solid piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And it's small. It's got exactly what I need. So that's what I use for my audio interface.
That's awesome. So before I started using a second computer to stream, I actually started just off of my phone because I didn't know how to set up OBS, Streamlabs, any of that. That was like a whole new world. Let me see if I can find my mobile interface. It's supposed to be in this drawer.
I had an old M audio box that was so barely working for my first few streams.
Okay.
Oh, the
So
iRig.
for my first stream, my first, I think 2 or 3 weeks of streams, Magenix knows because he was here for that. I used a little iRig 2. It's meant for guitar, so
I have that
you have the
for
same
the
one?
same reason.
Okay, so it's so incredibly handy. Have a little iPhone dongle because, damn it, iPhones and dongles. But it normally retails for $40, and I luckily bought it at the very beginning of the pandemic, like first week, and I found it an open box one, so I got it for like $20 or something, or $24. And then
Mine was not $20.
yeah, literally a week later, they were being scalped on eBay for $100, which
Well,
is
I got
nuts.
the HD. I think it was HD2 for like $100 because I also got it kind of early, and it's
Yeah.
got it's the same quality as what you have.
Yeah.
What's really great about the iRig though is it plugs directly into your phone. So if you're doing like a mobile live stream, or if you're just basically streaming off of your iPhone, you can get direct audio right into your phone.
Yeah.
But you can't do it when you're doing. I found this out the hard way. I did a corporate event where they were doing a joined Instagram live.
Yeah.
So if you try to do a join live, the iRig just stops.
Oh yeah, so the iRig's great for any stream, whether it's Twitch or Instagram. But Instagram Live, when it's two accounts together, it defaults to the internal microphone. So it doesn't matter if you have a great iRig setup; it just is like the crappy ambient sound, and it's so low quality. It's like painful.
It sounds like you're DJing underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constant Pro, thank you for the reminder. I do have a YouTube video up from when I did a chat with Find Your Grind, where I kind of go through just my experience and my setup a little bit more thoroughly. So you can check that out. And again, we've got a Discord. So that's gear.
I'm gonna put a YouTube video up also with like all of my gear because everyone just keeps asking me. The number one question I get is, "What mic
Yeah.
am I using?"
Oh, because you're the one of the people who has like a pretty hidden lav, like
my Ninja mic.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's all this gear that I bought that I barely ever used pre-pandemic. So I bought this like lav mic for like an in-store event I was doing.
And that mic is the one that you often see people clip on their shirts, like for TV show, like interviews. Yeah, that's like they line it in the inside of the shirt and clips by the neckline.
Yeah. So, that way I never need to like touch or like hold a microphone.
That's nice.
I can just like flip the little button on the S9 up and down, which is now getting worn out because I flipped it up and down so much.
Yeah.
But that's what I use for a mic. I use a Shure wireless mic system with a lav mic. And that's like the number one question that I get is, what mic am I using?
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to check out this video. That'll be handy. Okay, so let's see. We've talked about gear, talked about setup. What are you most proud of with your setup? Because there's a certain level of resourcefulness that goes into it. And I like I said, I've seen her space. It is so much smaller than you would imagine. It's literally the corner of a bedroom, but I'm really in awe of just like how resourceful and creative you are. Like you've used a sliver of space and all stuff that you have at home. So tell me, like, what are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of. Okay, so I did an event for Motorola, and they sent me like a care package with like a Android phone, and it's got these things called Moto mods, and one of the mods is a projector. So what I did was, and I used to do graphic and web design for all the radio stations in LA. So I have a graphic and web design degree, so I know how to do like After Effects to like some degree. I'm really good with like Photoshop, Illustrator. So I made this graphic of like my logo going 2 different ways, like repeatedly. And I loaded it on to the to the Motorola Droid.
Yeah.
And then I attach the projector, and then I keep it on top of my windowsill in my bedroom. And I don't do it a lot anymore, but I have this like Miss Ninja scroll logo that goes, on behind me while I'm DJing,
Yeah.
and it's all from this little Motorola phone.
So when
that's
she
the size
says
of an
little,
iPhone.
it's kind of, it's like the size of an iPhone, or like it looks a little bit like a Sidekick, if you remember those from T-Mobile.
It's literally the size of your iPhone.
Yeah.
So I'm super, super proud of that. I'm super proud of the mic. Have to be proud of the mic because that's what everyone talks about.
Yeah.
So, I think those are the two things I'm most proud of. What about you? What is your because your setup's so it's just so organic. Like it feels
Thank you.
good to be here.
I mean, she can see the mess. Like there's cables that I need to tidy up, but haven't had the chance to yet. I think
you've done a good job.
Thank you. I'm proud of taping a selfie stick to the wall with white tape so that it's not super ugly. I did it initially with blue painter's tape, but I did a decent enough job with the white tape that to the point where Miss Ninja didn't really notice till I pointed it out.
Lani's best thing is the plants.
Oh, thank you. The plants
That's
are
from
pretty nice.
Donde Groovily.
And then I think, really I think I'm just proud of the fact that I've been able to find a home for these random ass skills that I have. So
Same.
like
your creativity is your only limitation on Twitch. And we've gotten to create a show that is on par with our actual personalities.
Yeah.
Everything you see with us is literally who we are in person. Like there's no show.
Right.
It's just our personalities on crack.
So I think that makes me think of, that reminds me, I think my number one tip for streamers is for whatever you do to feel natural. Like, yes, being on camera and talking into a mic and a camera in a room by yourself, there's nothing natural about that. That's just something you have to get over. But in terms of like the music that you play and your style and what you talk about, it should feel natural because that's the only way it will be sustainable is if it's your vibe. So I have some DJ friends and some DJs that I watch who don't talk on the mic very much or even at all, and they still crush it because they're just about the mixing and it works. Decipher, who's someone who's sometimes in our chat, he's based in Germany. His stream doesn't even show his face. It's literally just his hands, mixing. And
that's what West Coast Avenger does, and I still love it.
Right, and it works. And then there are other streamers who, maybe not the best DJs, let's be honest, but they have fun stories and they're engaging and that's their thing. And they're more of a just chatting stream with a little bit of music. So it's just kind of finding the balance of what's comfortable to you and presenting it in a way that's fun for your audience too.
Well, I'm going to take it a step further. I really believe that pre-pandemic, the world was getting very influencery,
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but I know for me, I was starving for authenticity. I've always been one of those people that what you see is what you get. I can't really pretend to be anything that I'm not. So, the best thing for me about Twitch is that you guys love us for who we are, and I feel like the people that are most themselves are the ones that are doing best on Twitch. And I've actually, to spill a little tea, I've seen a few streamers try to embody my personality, which I guess that's supposed to be flattering, but it's also a huge disservice to themselves because as Dr. Seuss said, be yourself because everyone else is already taken. So the best advice that I think either of us could give to a streamer is just be 100% yourself.
Right.
Because and I say this on my stream all the time, when you are authentic, you give other people permission to be themselves.
It's very true. And the talking to the mic thing, Dial Jess reminded me, both of us before the pandemic would never talk on a mic. If we had a gig together and had to make an announcement, it'd be do you want to do it? Or do you want to do it? We did a gig where we DJ'd a silent disco and they're here are some microphones, hype up the audience. And we're hey guys,
Hey guys.
that's just not our vibe. And now obviously you kind of see us doing what we do. And there's still moments where I think you kind of see my truest nature. I can get hype and but I can't force it. So there are streams usually during the week where I'm just like, hey, happy Tuesday. And that's just like the energy that I've got. That's just my vibe. I'm chill. And unless I'm playing more upbeat music, the way I talk into the mic is kind of usually just a reflection of the music that I'm playing and the energy I get in the chat. So I can't be a loud personality if I'm not playing loud music. Yeah.
And I've always been a dork. So like for me, I've never been the cool kid. And I've never like been able to like flex or anything like that. So my whole DJ career, I've kind of laid low and just like done my work. So this whole Twitch experience has been a real trip because now all these DJs that like, because of just my personality would have never seen me before, now they all know who we are. And it's been wild because I've gotten to be my truest, dorkiest self. For those of you that have ever watched my stream, we tell stupid jokes half the time and we laugh like idiots. And it's been what's actually probably made it so much fun and so successful. And bottom line also, guys, if you are an up-and-coming streamer, if you're not having fun, no one's gonna have fun with you. So the number one thing is make sure you are having fun.
I think that applies both streaming and DJing. If you're not having fun, your audience isn't going to have fun. Like you have to start with yourself. So if you look at our streams or Dial Jess's streams, like we're doing things that genuinely bring us joy. For Dial Jess, that's wearing a mustache, a fringe jacket, and, creating a whole experience that's a little bit weird.
Can we make some noise for Daddy?
Yeah.
Can we purr together? Are you ready? Someone's got to clip that.
Yeah. It's like the saddest air horn.
No, sad air horn goes burr.
Yeah. Okay. So for Dial Jess, she has done an amazing job with her stream. I feel lucky. Dial Jess and I are in the same DJ crew, Club Mesh, and it's really amazing to see where she's taken her creativity, her energy, her chat, her channel. It grows like literally every day, and it's fun. Like even though she's my friend and I've seen her DJ 100 times and I know a lot of her song selection, I still watch her stream because I learned something new about her, and she always brings something new to the table.
What I love about you guys so much is how genuine and open you are. It comes across. I mean, guys, seriously, like, when you're watching them that like you're just getting like raw Lani and like raw Dial Jess, right? And that's what makes it so much fun. Like I'm mesmerized when I watch you guys because I really do feel like I'm hanging out with my friends. And you I've known for a while. Jess, I only met because of you, and we've never met in person. But like it really feels like we're hanging out.
Yeah, you get a good sense of people's personalities from streaming. You talked a little bit about how pre-pandemic there's like this influencer thing, right, on Instagram, and there's very much a way to present yourself in a way that looks cool or perfect or whatever, and it can be totally disconnected from reality. And on Twitch, I feel like it's much harder to do that. It's a platform that lends itself to authenticity, as you've touched on, but also there's just no room to fake it, like, because it's all live.
Well, it's like a relationship. Like when you're in a relationship with another human being, you can fake your personality for only so long before your true colors start to show through.
Right.
So like now you've been with us for probably 3 or 4 months. So
right.
you know who we are at this point. And like certain people, you can fake it. You can fake it for a month. You can put on a show for a month, but eventually like you're going to see who's who, like
right.
what everyone's all about.
3 to 5 times a week for 6 months. Like you just know what we're about. I honestly, I feel like our audiences probably know and have noticed things about us.
Have they seen you cry? They've seen me cry 3 times.
I've gotten a bit teary. I think I remember one of the first times for sure was I was just kind of reflecting on the fact that I see my chat and talk to my chat more than I talk to my own family. And I was just like, this is crazy, but I'm like really grateful because it's a very like lonely time just being at home by yourself for, days on end. So I think that was like a moment where I got a little tripped up. And then of course, just the state of the nation, like there are been a couple times where just
can I just say though, Twitch
crazy.
Has saved me from going into a media depression hole
Yeah.
Because before I started live streaming, I was watching the news all the time, and I started to like see myself getting bitter. And the truth of it is, like, when you watch a lot of news, they it's called programming for a reason. They're trying to get you to believe something, whether or not they say they're impartial. Like, both sides are trying to get you to believe something.
Right.
And from traveling a lot, like, you hear certain things about parts of the world, and then you go travel there, and it's like nothing like what the media has told you it's like, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with people. Like, they want you, like, sensationalism. I studied marketing, so sensationalism. This is the mezcal talking. Sensationalism is what sells. So they want to keep you hooked on their channels. So they feed you like the things that are really going to grab your attention. And I found myself starting to like get sucked into all of that,
Right.
even though I know better.
Yeah.
And then I stopped watching all of it. I started live streaming. We started building a community of kindness, as you have. And it's a reminder that, like, what you see on TV isn't the reality, because every single person I've met on Twitch has been so kind and so funny and so smart. The news would have you believing something else about the masses. But what I have experienced with everybody in the Twitch community from all over the world is how funny and silly and kind and open people are. That's been like the thing that has like saved me from going insane in the last 6 months.
Yeah. I think what's cool about live streaming is, yes, you get to share music, but the experience can be more if you want it to. So like I touched on, there are people who their streams just music, just DJ sets, and we're here for it. It's awesome. And then for myself personally, even before pandemic, I've had a blog. Like, I've been blogging in one form or another since 2002. I've just been a creature of the internet. So in high school, I used to blog about emo punk. So trust, we'll do an emo punk night. It's going to be glorious, but I just need to rip like hundreds of CDs. But I've been, creating content since 2002. I think my unfortunate, or maybe it's fortunate, I think I always hop onto trends early and then I burn out on them before they get big. So I blogged about music in 2002, and then I blogged about fashion and personal style in 2009. And I kind of quit, or I kind of phased out of it right as Instagram was happening. And I've seen people who were my peers continue on with it. And I definitely had moments where I was like, what if, right? But I have no regrets, because I think a lot of blogging or being an influencer today involves selling, and I don't want to sell. Like, I have a couple affiliate links, as you guys know, because
I love that you said that, because one thing I keep wanting to like scream this on like Instagram is, do you guys feel like people are always trying to sell you something? Because I feel like no matter what I'm doing, if I'm on Facebook or if I'm on Instagram, someone is always trying to sell me something. And that's what I love about Twitch also, is like, you and I are on Twitch because we love you guys and we love music,
Right.
And that's really it. Like, we're here just because,
right,
for the love of the process.
Right. So like I think to explain why influencers are often selling to you, I know for some of you, you're like, we understand, but if you're not familiar with kind of the business model of being an influencer or content creator, a lot of times the money comes off of brand deals. So Instagram, having a large audience on Instagram you're not getting paid by Instagram. Some YouTubers will get paid by YouTube, but the majority of their income will come from a brand. And so that's a brand saying, hey, you have this audience, we'd like to tap into them. Here's X amount of dollars to talk about our product and essentially sell it for us, because you're a face that people trust. And I learned about clothing manufacturing and how hard it is on the environment, how unfair the labor is, no matter what a brand tells you, and you just kind of have to blindly trust them. Like, Everlane was this transparent brand, and then I think just a few months ago it came out that, yeah, they're just trash like everybody else. So I didn't want to get into the business of selling clothes. So I kind of was like, I am already working myself to the bone. I'm just going to kind of let fashion blogging drop to the wayside. But in just my self and my personal interests, I've always wanted to share things I'm passionate about. So I was like, maybe I'll come back as like a YouTuber. And I made one cooking video maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And it takes so long to edit. It's like so much time. And I'm a working DJ, like we talked about. So I don't have time to make consistent videos to be like a YouTuber. So Twitch for me has been this like amazing intersection of all these things I'm interested in, right? DJing, sharing cooking tutorials, styling tutorials, or just random plant tips. I mean, I think I'm still learning how to present the best way to present this information to you and share it with
girl,
you.
you're killing it.
Oh, thank you.
You're doing, you know, what's so great is like, it's a peek into your world. And I think that's what, now this goes out to the DJs that are like starting to stream. When you are on Twitch, yeah, you're a DJ, but it's live streaming. It's a whole other world where you can truly like do whatever you want. You're inviting people into your world to be a part of your family, into your friendship, you know? And for me, like, I think the sooner people get that, the more fun it will become for the streamers. Because if all you're focusing on is like, oh, I'm a DJ, I need to push the fact that I'm a DJ.
Yeah.
It's really, really limiting.
Yeah.
To like how you can actually connect with other human beings.
Yeah. I mean, it's really just what's natural to you. And I think
I love your plant talks.
Thank you. And you know, don't worry about like if you're new or still kind of finding your way on Twitch, don't worry so much about like creating a formula or a format. I think it's just literally trial and error. Like you can only strategize so much. Like I've definitely spent a lot of time, you know, thinking, planning, plotting, testing, designing, whatever. But at the end of the day, you just have to kind of do it. And then, you know, afterwards take a look and be like, did that work or could I do it better?
Well, what I realized is 50% of the magic happens with you guys. Like half the stuff that's happened in my stream has been happening because of like the conversations I've had with all of
I know the chat has so many good
Twitch
ideas.
friends that we've made. So every time I sign on, I never know what's going to happen. I don't really plan anything. I just kind of let you guys dictate whatever's going to happen that day. And that's when the magic happens, is when you're open, because then you're like open to like infinite possibility, right? Like you haven't like limited what you're going to do that day. So I usually stay open to like the possibilities of what can happen when I hit that like go live button. And then you guys always like come through with the craziest, funniest energy.
Yeah, the chat comes through with really good jokes.
You guys are a bigger part of this than you will ever know. Like we wouldn't be able to
some
do
of
this.
Some of them know.
Okay, some of you know. Some of you know. But if you don't know, now you know.
So the phrase I always say, reject the main typed it, chat has spoken. Like I feel that's like very much a real thing with Twitch, is kind of seeing what the chat has to say. That cabbage emote, guys, I gotta move it. I'll move it back to tier 1. I think it might be a tier 2 or 3. I kind of moved.
I thought it was a lettuce. I always used it with my turnip emote for lettuce, turnip, the beet.
Oh, that's good. That works too.
Lettuce is better because it's like let us.
Yes. So it's lettuce, cabbage, whatever you want to be.
Resurrect it, but call it lettuce.
Okay. So that emote is like the result of just the chat commenting on the time I cut a head of cabbage on a stream in the middle of a dance party. But it's kind of like, I think the chat will give it, if you read the chat and listen, I think you'll get your best ideas from it. Like my best emotes and things that I've added to the stream are based off of comments and feedback from the chat.
One of my favorite days, I don't know if you guys remember this, but my stream, for some reason, the internet wasn't connecting. I found out why later, but I had to like restart everything. Everyone stayed in the chat so that the stream wouldn't stop, and I had to reset and restart OBS. But when I restarted it, all of my overlays were gone.
Oh no.
So then I have my dancing bananas. So I just started duplicating the bananas, and I made like 2 big bananas, 2 tiny bananas. And now it's one of my favorite things on my stream is when I bring out the big banana energy. And that would have never happened if not for the sense of humor of everyone in my chat and the fact that there was like a disaster going on in the background.
Right. And I think we've all at this point had like our share of technical
Apple
difficulties. Like Dial Jess has had her stream go down many times, and then I in the chat literally just started praying to the chicken bat, you know? And that's like a thing. I think I've just I stream off of 2 iPhones as my webcams, as you guys know, and sometimes in between app updates, there's issues. No. And the worst is like there was a time when it was auto updating, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I literally would have to start my stream 30-45 minutes early just to kind of troubleshoot the camera. It still has its days. Like sometimes you guys see, I'll ask, hey, are the audio visuals synced? I gotta adjust it because it has a mind of its own, even if it's the same exact setup.
Oh my God, technology has its own agenda.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's at least it's not as bad as Terminator, but technology definitely has its own agenda.
And then it's funny, you never know what phrase will catch on to. Like,
you're better at that than I am. I feel like you're on the forefront of knowing like the phrases. I only know crumbly because of you.
Oh.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of phrases. Like Lani, I'm like a late adopter with things and you're like an early adopter.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It's really kind of funny because I feel like I'm like, how is she so on this? And why am I such a boomer?
Well, no, I think, so sometimes it's also just saying something silly and then people repeat it and it becomes like a thing. Like raise your chicken bats was because Dial Jess was leaving the ranch and I was like, we have to do a last hurrah. And we had a chicken bat emote that her cousin made. And I was like, come raise your chicken bat, like your chicken bat emotes, show her some love. Let's make this last stream like a magical one.
That's how I feel about my sad air horn. I think I had left an effect on my what is it, what are they called, the sounds that you can I can't, okay, I'm crumbling.
Yeah, you left a reverb or echo or something.
I left the stop, what is it called, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, I left an effect on while I hit
the breakout.
The break.
Yeah.
I hit my air horn while I had the brake effect on and it just went and it kind of sounded like okay, so the joke in my channel is that it's the ED horn. It's the erectile dysfunction horn.
That's so sad. Sad air horn brought to you by Viagra.
Exactly. So it's become probably one of the funniest things on my stream. And I think about it all the time, guys, like every day. And it happened purely by accident. And now it's like a thing that's like out there in the universe.
Yeah.
It's wild.
You never know.
QDMSA knows what I'm talking about.
So I think we just gave a few examples now of like, just how the chat can really influence your stream. And there is a culture that can be born out of your chat and your community. I do think it's a fairly big part of live streaming. Like I said, there's exceptions to every kind of rule. And by rule, it's more like a guide because it's the wild, wild west. It's the internet. Yeah.
It's just fun having no limits. I've always said that when I die, if people had to describe me in one word, I hope it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
I'm a ridiculous person. Like I'm like a living cartoon. That's what I've been told my whole life.
Yeah.
Because I have such a crazy imagination, guys. If you guys could be in here for 2 seconds, I don't know if you'd be scared or impressed.
So have you ever slipped on a banana peel?
Not in real life, but I do but I don't know. My depth perception must be off because I run into things a lot.
I've slipped on a banana peel.
You've slipped on one in real life?
Yeah.
I would pay money to see that.
In New York City, 42nd Street, the transfer between the ACE line and Times Square, Port Authority in Times Square. It was like finished, coming back from Jersey for a work meeting, and I slipped on a banana peel, and I had a bag that the top was open, and all my contents in my bag just spilled out, and my hands were dirty because it's New York City underground subway.
Wow, you're like a TV show.
Yeah, so
I love it.
You can slip
that gets
on a banana peel.
Purr, 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 purr. That totally deserves a purr, purr, purr,
yeah.
purr. Oh, by the way, I know a lot of people are just joining us. Should we tell them who the hell we are?
Oh yeah, so if you're just joining us, I'm DJ Lani Love.
I'm DJ Miss Ninja. We're both from Los Angeles, as you can see.
We're DJs that became live streamers because of the pandemic.
And is it okay if I put my info in the chat?
Yes, please do. And actually, we can do, the command is shout out. And then Miss DJ Miss Ninja.
I don't want to hijack your channel.
No.
This is so fun, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. We're being really weird, and you guys are weird, and this is like mutually exponentially weird.
Honestly, I feel like it's not that weird because the threshold for weird, we've
set a very high bar for weird.
Yeah.
Between the two of us, I think we've maxed out on weird.
Yeah, the bar for weird just it's limitless at this point.
And yet, we have not reached the ceiling yet.
No, we have not.
There's much more room to go, guys.
Yes. So let's see. How many crossovers are happening. The crossovers is really just a new thing, and we're just lucky in that we're pretty close, and we also are just responsible enough so we can trust each other that we haven't been exposed to anything.
Like we've literally not seen it. We both were tested like a couple days ago. Not a couple days ago, like a week ago.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anybody in months.
Like I knew I didn't have COVID, but I got myself tested last week before doing that stream at my friend Liz's house, just as a precaution. So be safe out there. Keep wearing your face mask. Keep staying home. Actually, honestly, you should go outside.
Yeah, sunshine
makes a world of difference. Why am I still wearing my headphones? I just realized I have nothing to monitor.
I was like, can you hear better that way?
I mean, it does help a little bit to keep an ear on things, but I can also let them go now.
So I know you had like so many good questions lined up, and we've just been rambling on. I do this, guys. I derail conversations. I'm like a pro. I'm a pro conversation train wrecker.
Oh, there's some comments about being pale. I will say my skin doesn't know how to respond to the sun anymore.
You are not pale in real life.
Yeah.
You're not pale.
Oh, thank you.
I am Indian, so just maybe comparatively.
Yeah. So we talked about equipment, streaming, a little bit of the technical difficulties. Now, having done this for 6 months, what piece of advice do you wish you had, or what do you wish you had known going into it that you didn't know at the start or while you were doing it?
I mean, there's been so much that we've learned, and honestly, I wouldn't take anything I wouldn't take a single thing back. I feel like you and I started this so early. Like we started this before raids were a thing. We started this when there was
I didn't even know how to raid.
Yeah, I didn't know what a raid was. Nobody was raiding me. I think there's not a lot I can say that I would do different. I feel like I'm very fortunate that I've gotten to learn by trial and error, and there weren't a lot of people doing what we were doing when we started. I had to learn from gaming streamers, what gear was good, and I couldn't afford it yet, and I still I'm overextending myself in some ways because I am so obsessed with making sure that our streams are good. And it's exciting for me, but at the same time, I have this list of things that I've learned from other gaming streamers. But again, I feel like you and I have been kind of at the beginning of this music thing.
I think because we started early, the only references we had were all gaming streamers. There weren't many music streamers, and if they existed, they certainly didn't have any tips or anything online. So,
and again, we didn't know about them. There were a bunch. I know there's Slave One.
Right.
There's a bunch of them, and I didn't know about them because I wasn't watching gaming streams on Twitch. I wasn't watching music streams. I was watching gaming streams.
Right.
So, things that I've learned, though, I can say is you have to be very disciplined with time management, because it's very easy to get sucked into the Twitchiverse. I'm sure the chat knows what I'm talking about. I'm sure streamers know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Budgeting your time so that you're not forgetting about other things in your life, going out and seeing the green trees and the blue sky and all of that stuff. Now I have a better handle on it. I am making more time to go outside, and the Twitch community is so supportive. Every time I'm taking a day off, they're like, you go take a day off.
I'm actually really glad you bring that up, because that was definitely one of my questions I wanted to hear from you, what some of your off-camera work looks like, because in between streams, it's so incredibly easy to just work on Twitch all day, every hour of your life.
Oh yeah, we're always trying to improve the stream, and it really is what you see is maybe 50% of the work. What's happening on camera,
right?
The other 50% is happening when the cameras are not live.
So yeah, there's two things I want to break down. So let's first talk about some of the work that happens off camera, what that looks like, and then let's kind of jump into finding balance and how you've done with that so far. So finding music as a DJ has always been some work that we've done between gigs, but now it's finding music. It's sometimes tweaking chatbots, overlays. What else?
Between tweaking overlays, getting the right cables to make everything work properly.
Right, especially whenever one of us does a pop-up stream, it's not we just
to reconfigure everything.
You've got to move every everything has to be moved. Everything
Like
has to be
when I
plugged
moved
in.
into my living room, setting that all up took like 2 hours.
I know,
to
it's
just
such
move
a pain.
everything, and it just looks like boom, it's done. But the amount of work it takes to like move everything to another location is more than you would actually expect. Constantly researching gear, and not only that though, like I really love my community, so there's like all this stuff I'm trying to do in the background to like make things better for them. Same with you, like we just want to make it
Discord. Shout out Discord fam. Bow, 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 bow.
Instagram, like I'm talking to everybody like through every media outlet possible because you guys have become our friends. So it's like it really has become like a 24-hour thing. So between gear, the actual like social interaction aspect of it, and then the live streaming,
and then making clips that we can post to social. That also sometimes finding that moment, you're like, I knew it happened.
I don't know what minute it happened at.
Right. And trying to scrub.
You guys help a lot with that. When you guys get like those golden moments and we can just repost them.
Yeah,
you've saved us hours.
Yeah, because sometimes amazing. Scrubbing a 4-hour video, you move the mouse just like a smidge and you've jumped to a whole nother half hour.
And sometimes Twitch is super quick on the muting.
Yeah.
And then we can't even get the clip we wanted. So like you guys are so important to what we do.
Yeah.
I would also say, again, like gear, setting up gear, getting new gear, making sure it's always working. That's another whole, like I feel like I always have to say a little prayer before I go live that all my gear will cooperate.
Okay. So I haven't said a prayer in a while. Knock on wood, but there was a time when when I told you like the camera.
I don't pray.
When the apps were.
I
started praying. I was like, this is the most I've ever prayed in my life. I'm praying for the pandemic to end, and I'm praying for my tech to work. But I would just be on edge because the app for my phone, my mobile webcam, was so unstable that I would just be like, please work, please work, please work. And there'd be some streams where it wouldn't work, and I would be using the crappy crappy camera built into the MacBook. That's like the worst possible thing to stream with low lighting, but you make it work. It's fine. Audio quality. Again, that's proof of audio quality mattering because I'm sure I lost some people with that one, but that stream, even being one of my early streams, I still had like 170 people watch like shitty webcam quality,
What's your advice for people that are struggling with low viewer numbers being like a discouraging factor for them? Because you have really great viewer numbers and you've worked really hard for that.
Yeah.
But I hear from a lot of DJs that like I have 10 viewers and I feel like quitting.
So persistence really is like, I think the name of the game, putting in time and hours. The more that you're on, it increases the likelihood of someone finding your stream. That said, don't be streaming like every day, every hour, because then people will be like, I can catch you all the time. So there was this DJ who actually, he was like,
I should take that advice because I tend to go on for a long time.
So this DJ actually, he hit me up in the DMs and I liked how just genuine he was. Like, I don't have time to help everyone with their stream. I wish I did, but honestly, I don't. I get a message.
And my brain is fried half the time. Like it's not even that like there's no time. It's like my mental capacity is so diminished.
Oh, I know. Because just streaming and maintaining our own channels is really, it's involved.
It makes me sad when people are like, they send me a whisper and they're like, you didn't respond to my whisper. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like,
do you know what my DMs are lit?
Mine too. And it's not that I don't want to respond to everybody. It's just that I'm one person.
Right. So, there was a time when I literally got a DM every single day for 2 weeks asking how to set up a stream and like tech questions and all of that. And I was like, this is crazy. And so then I did that chat with Find Your Grind, which has been archived to YouTube. And that has helped a lot because a lot of people, not a lot, some people will watch that video before they ask me questions, which is helpful. But there was one DJ, he and his wife watched my stream and they were really cute. And they're just like, hey, I've been streaming like every day and putting in so much time and I'm still not seeing any growth in my channel. Like, could I pay you some money to like consult or something, And I was like, really, I'm not doing this for the money, but the fact that you respect my time, like I appreciate that. Let's hop on the phone. So we hopped on the phone, and in hearing what his streaming schedule was, I was like, well, there's part of your problem. You stream so often that people think they can catch you whenever. So it's not an event anymore. They're like, if I don't see him today, I'll see him tomorrow. So I was like, I would cut back on streaming, and I would also try, experimenting with different time slots. You're competing with a lot of big streamers streaming at the time that you do. So that's something to consider too. Like maybe try to switch it up. Instead of doing all evening streams, do an afternoon stream, or instead of doing all afternoon streams, try like a morning or a late evening. It's
Can I say something controversial, though?
yes, of course.
I'm going to piss a lot of people off right now. But I think a lot of people, first of all, streaming is its own animal. Not everyone is going to be a good live streamer. You might be a great DJ, but maybe engaging an audience in that way is not your thing. So I don't want people to feel like they're not good at DJing or something like that just because they don't get a lot of viewers. Maybe your personality type is just like not the live streaming personality type, but there are things you can do to like overcome that. You should play to your strengths.
Yeah.
So don't watch other streamers and compare yourself to them. Figure out what your own strengths are and then play to those.
Yeah.
Because everyone does have their own strength list. And I see
Right.
a lot of people like watch you or watch me or, other streamers, and they're like, oh,
They start
maybe
emulating our behavior.
mimicking our personalities. And I'm like, well, that's just not you. And people are going to smell that like a mile away. And
Right.
it's like, well, don't do that then. Like find the
Right.
things that are truly you, things that you are really good at, and maximize those things instead.
Like, I will be blunt and say that streaming's not for everyone, but I think it is for a lot of people. So there's plenty of room for everyone to play. And I started streaming to an audience that consisted strictly of my friends and people who follow me on Instagram. So
Same.
it started.
Do you remember the hustle at the beginning where it's like,
Yeah.
come to Twitch,
Come to Twitch.
come to Twitch,
Twitch
hey,
is
Instagram, come to
Have
Twitch.
you-
West Coast Adventure, one of my mods, he's in the chat right now. He knows because I was streaming on Twitch, not Twitch, on Instagram Live, and we've known each other since before Twitch, and that's how he came over to Twitch. Was like all of us
Right.
were like, we're all going to Twitch.
Right.
All going to Twitch.
Yeah. So I think Lark mentioned consistency is really important. That's true. Like letting your audience kind of know the general times of days or when they can catch you, just like a show, right? Like Game of Thrones isn't sometimes Monday, sometimes Sunday, sometimes Saturday. It's always the same night of the week, same time when it's in season. So
That's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Consistency is definitely key. And not just consistency in timing, consistency in what you're putting forward.
right.
And I think like another really important thing is just, again, if you're not good at something, don't pretend.
Yeah. So I'll share some of my numbers from early on just to give you frame of reference, and hopefully it will let you know that wherever you're at, there's room for growth. I think my numbers are, they ebb and flow. There are some streams where I'll kind of be in the lower hundreds, and there's some streams where I'm 200 or 300. My average kind of varies. There was a time when I was always above 200, and lately I've kind of been more hovering around like 175. I don't know, but all that to say, I look at those numbers just to kind of pulse check, like, is this set time working for me? Is what I'm doing working? But I can't give it too much weight because there's a whole bunch of random factors that play into whether or not people watch your stream. But first of all, everyone has a life.
And also, like, if all you're focusing is on numbers,
Yeah.
then you're in it for the wrong reasons. I think the viewer count isn't use the viewer count to gauge if you're giving people what they want. It's, again, I studied marketing, so you have to. The thing you should always fall in love with is your audience, not yourself. And I think a lot of people are so about themselves that they're forgetting that the audience is really the most important thing.
Right.
In a live stream. But beyond that, if you're so busy focusing on your numbers and just quantifying everything, you're missing all the fun of it.
Right. So I think metrics are a guide, but not an end all. So I just shared some of those numbers as like where I'm at now. And that's just to say that there's growth is possible, because I used to stream like Wednesday through like Saturday and the occasional Sunday. Now I stream every Sunday. I do my little weekend wind down, and that's like a routine that me and some people have. Every Sunday night, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Pacific, they can tune in and it's like chill wind down. But I used to do a brunch. if I wasn't too tired on Saturdays sometimes, right? So because it was an inconsistent thing and because it was a pop-up thing and I wasn't promoting it, I would for about maybe 4 or 5 weeks, I would stream to 30 people on Sundays. And that's when some of my core wholesome crew actually found me. It was like when I was streaming to 30 people. And now our Sunday nights, granted it's different time, different concept, a bigger community, but like we have like a nice vibe on our Sundays.
Well, what I've always said is like, if you're organically building everything and you're connecting with people one by one, the slower growth is better because you're getting to know each individual as they come into your stream, little by little. But I think this also ties into another topic that I've been talking about a lot is as a streamer, for anyone that is streaming, don't judge yourself too hard on the metrics, especially if you're comparing yourself to other people's metrics.
Right.
Because there is a lot of view botting going on. There are a lot of streamers right now that unfortunately care more about their image than the actual community building portion of Twitch. So you'll see streamers that just maybe started a month ago or a week ago and they have like 300 or 400 viewers.
Right.
And it's like, why are they doing so well? Why do they have 7,000 followers? And they bought those followers or they bought their viewers. So you really, and the dead giveaway though is when you go into those channels and the chat is dead.
Yeah. So just like Instagram and everything else, there's always someone trying to take a shortcut. And that's fine. They can do whatever. But I think what makes me sad is that it does sometimes discourage some people from starting to stream.
That's the saddest part,
I think
that it's discouraging people.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things that make me mad is that it discourages people and it shows like a sense of entitlement to a outcome that they haven't worked for yet.
Yeah, it's so sus. So there's this one DJ, right? Like he was streaming to literally 5 to 8 people he only streamed, I think 2 or 3 times. And then he view botted. So I looked at my feed and I was like, whoa, how does the dude have like 500 people? Like, did he get raided or something? I pop into his chat and I am the only person in the chat. Dead giveaway.
I've been in that channel.
Yeah.
So can I give a really like horrible tip to everybody?
Okay.
Can I spill some tea? Do you guys want me to spill some tea?
She's
right
had
now?
White Claw and Mezcal. Let's go.
Well, no, I'm also one of those people that
whistleblower.
Yeah, I'm a whistleblower.
Okay, so let's hear it.
There's a thing called Twitch Tracker, and there's what is it, Sully Gnome?
Yeah.
There are actual websites where you can look at people's
It's public
stats.
domain. Yeah.
Public. So if you go into some of your favorite streamers, and I'm going to follow this up with something important. But if you go into some of your favorite streamers' streams and you see like they went from like 200 to 400 to 1,000 to 7,000, if they got like a viewer dump of like 6,000 or whatever, and they've only been on for like a month and they haven't you haven't seen them build their community and all of a sudden they're at like 7,000, you can see that like in Twitch Tracker.
Right.
Now, there is another thing going on the other end where some people are getting salty at that, like some streamers are having a lot of success and they are view botting other viewers, which I know that's happened in the Club Mesh fam. Mm-hmm. And that's also something that you can kind of, if you're smart, like you can kind of know it's happening because you've seen these streamers like build their audience over 3-4 months.
Right.
And then you see like this dump and you're like, well, why would they do that when they're already like so ahead?
Right.
So like as long as you guys, I just want to make everyone aware that these things are happening on both ends. Sometimes there are DJs that don't want to look bad. And I heard someone say this, that it's like, it's not a good look if I don't have a lot of viewers. Right. I've heard people say that.
Yeah. There's definitely been some people where it's a little sus, like the night before they stream on a bigger channel, suddenly they have like a bunch of new followers on their own. Like that's a little weird. But I mean, it doesn't matter what these people are doing too much. I think it's great that you mentioned that because I just think it will help people know like, hey, if my numbers don't look like that, you're not doing anything wrong. You just didn't buy bots.
And I want to keep people honest because the thing is that, we are putting in a lot of work and I want everyone to feel like their work will be rewarded. It won't be stolen from them. I don't know if that makes sense, but for me, integrity is a really big deal. I taught martial arts for 10 years. It was drilled in my head that you should behave in private the way that you behave in public, if you're doing something that you wouldn't want other people to see, you shouldn't be doing it at all. So like honesty, integrity, all of those things are really important. And for the most part, again, like to the streamers, if you're ever like kind of seduced by that dark side, I highly recommend you don't do it, because first of all, Twitch is auditing and they will find you eventually. But beyond that, you're missing out on the fun of the journey. And if you're not having fun while you're doing this, what is the point?
Yeah, I think with part of the metrics we talked about as being a guide, if you view bot, you don't have a real gauge on what's actually happening, like how much your community is growing. Yeah, you're ruining data. Basically, you're soiling the information.
So again, like for new streamers, don't worry about your numbers. Don't worry about the metrics. Some of them are really like not everything is what it seems.
Right. And another sign of someone having view bots is if they raid you with like a ton of viewers, but it just sits.
They park. I call it parking.
Yeah. So tell us, what does that look like?
So I've been raided by a few people that I know now for a fact have been using view bots, because when they raid me, there's a typical drop off. And again, this is what's happening with some of these new streamers. They don't know that, like us that have been here for a while, we know what these things, all these like trajectories and things like that look like.
Right.
So if you raid one of us and we've been here for a while, we know that like as soon as you get a raid, you're going to have like maybe 100% of the raid will stay for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get like 40% drop off.
That's right.
And then another 20% drop off, and then another 20% drop off. And that's just the trajectory of a raid audience, because you have to remember, when someone's raided you, they've already been spinning for 2, maybe 4 hours. This audience might be tired, or they might have another favorite streamer. So they might give you a follow and they might bounce. But if the raiders just park, if 80% of the raiders park and they don't leave for your 7-hour set.
That's so funny that you mentioned that. Whoops.
Whoa, what was that? Oh,
that's my
your
phone.
Okay.
I didn't even think about it that way. I just thought when you had first brought up, parked viewers, it was just more that they weren't active in the chat. But that's true. They should also be dropping off, because if they were real people, they have lives to get to, other streams to watch. So,
I just really want to encourage viewers to be aware, so that you can support the streamers that are actually doing the work and actually care about you guys as viewers and aren't trying to sell you something.
I'm not
like we talked about before.
Yeah. It's funny. There are times when I'm like, I'm getting known as like the wholesome DJ with like the chill vibes and glasses, because I have had trouble with contacts during quarantine. And then I was like, it's just who I am. And you know what? It works. Like some people like that about me. Some people don't.
Her phone's okay, guys. Everyone's asking if her
phone is okay. Whew. Thank goodness. Yes. Okay.
I'll be right back.
BRB. So
I've had a lot of mezcal.
And there was a question, I think, from Privy Council about, do we plan our set times around people that we know are big streamers? I don't. I try not to pay I watch other streams because it's fun and I want to support other streamers. And early on, I watched other streams to get a sense of what I like and don't like. It's a good reference, right? It's just research. And then my streaming schedule is just really based off of what works best for me. I am lucky in that I'm part of a trio with Dial Jess and Chess Knight, so we coordinate so that we don't overlap too much, and we can provide you with like a full Club Mesh experience whenever possible. But outside of Club Mesh, it would be too much to coordinate with other people's schedule. It's already hard enough just to like make it happen, on my time. Yeah, I hope some of this information is helping, by the way. Yes, thank you for your concerns about my phone. It seems to be good. This is an old one. You know what's funny about iPhones is sometimes, you have a really big drop and you expect it to be broken and it's fine. And then other times it's like the smallest, shortest fall, and that's the one that shatters it. You just never know which angle is going to do it. If there are other questions, by the way, I think we'll answer most of them at the end, but feel free to kind of type them in the chat so we can earmark them. I think now we've talked about what happens off camera. Should we talk about finding that balance, and have you found it? work-life balance, Twitch versus real life, going outside.
I think it's still a work in progress, to be honest. I mean, you guys know, I'll say that I'm going to go live for like 2 hours, and then 9 hours later, we're still there. And, again, I think just gauge it on if you're having a good time or not. If you feel like stopping, stop. But if you're having a great time, do what feels right to you. But I am also realizing, like we talked about on the phone the other day, that there's a lot of days where I'm like, I'm not tired. I've been streaming for 7 hours. I'm still not tired. I'm going to keep going. But what I'm not factoring into the equation is that if I keep going for another 2 hours, then tomorrow I'm not going to have the energy to like go be outside and like go, maybe take a walk on the beach or something. So to have like, to think about future you and how like your current decisions are affecting future you.
That freaking, it's not a marathon. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, I think applies to streaming so much.
Magenics. Is the 24-hour birthday set really a balance? Actually, that was a one-time thing. And
so if you didn't know, Miss Ninja was the first North American DJ to stream 24 hours on Twitch.
And I had the best time, guys.
She was like, it's my birthday, I'm going to stream 24 hours. I was like, you're insane.
So, I don't know. Every year for my birthday, I like to do something like super epic and super fun. And we were in quarantine, and I had made such great friends on Twitch. And I just really, really, and this is the first time I'm actually talking about the 24-hour stream with anyone. Oh. Isn't that funny? Like, people have asked, and I just, like, somehow the question, I just end up not talking about it.
Yeah.
But the way it happened was we were joking around in my stream like 2 days before my birthday, and they're like, you should, because I was already kind of known for doing long streams.
And for context, 24-hour streams were a thing that came out of like the gamer world.
But they would do things where they'd like take breaks. They would like go sit down, like other things. So for me, I was like, no, I'm going to DJ for 24 hours straight because I'm a psycho. So, it was just a fun way to have fun with the friends that I had made online. I never expected it to become like such a big deal until everyone on my stream was like, that's a big deal. What you just did is a big deal. Like, I really didn't think it was.
Yeah.
But that being said, Magenics, I'm not going to do it again.
And I've already said this.
One-time deal.
I will never stream 24 hours. It's just not something that I think I would enjoy. And if I'm not enjoying it, why would you? I think knowing when to take a break is important. I have been on the verge of burnout for a bit. So I don't know if anyone noticed, but I did stream a day less the past couple weeks. Like, I like to do pop-up sets usually on Tuesday, and I like to keep it a pop-up because I don't want to overextend myself and overcommit. So I already stream Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and now Sunday. That's 4 days a week. Like, that's a lot. Sometimes I just miss streaming, so I like to have that Tuesday as a day to hop on, but sometimes I need that Tuesday to just like rest or pack shot glasses, call USPS and make some arrangements,
watch reruns on Netflix of shows you've watched 8 times all the way through.
Yeah.
It's important, guys. One thing I am seeing that I think is really there's like a really fun side to Twitch, and then there's kind of an unhealthy side to Twitch as a streamer, because it's open 24 hours a day, guys. There's really no limit to what you can do, and the FOMO can get real. Like, you're like, oh, I see, so like all these people are streaming right now, why am I not streaming? And the sooner you realize that there's no cap to it, and that you have to have enough discipline and like
you have to be honest with yourself. Like, I think you have to know to cut off before you're super exhausted, because when you're
even before you're super exhausted,
right, because
to a mentally healthy state,
right? Because when you're streaming, there's like a certain level of just like, oh, I love the music, gives you like this high, you're having fun with your friends, just like if you were at a club, right? Like, when the lights are still flash, there's lights, there's music, there's booze, you're like feeling great, and then you step outside to get your Uber and you're like, uh-oh, right? So like, it's just knowing to cut yourself off before you hit the uh-oh stage.
Yeah, totally. Okay, right. So I think everyone's pretty anxious for you to get back on the decks, but I do want to know, like, what are your, like, the most uplifting motivational advice probably that you can give to streamers?
Most uplifting and motivational. Ooh, that's a lot. I just think if you have fun with it, you will just be rewarded in ways that you didn't expect. You'll meet people that you probably wouldn't have met if it wasn't for the platform. And then you'll probably tap into some creativity that you didn't know you had either. Like, I think that's been a hugely like rewarding part of this, is just having like a new medium. It's like sound, it's visuals, it's interaction, it's speech, it's like whatever you want it to be. So yeah,
I think that's amazing. Like, I know, I just don't want everyone to like, I want, we should actually do this again, because I feel like there's probably a lot more questions that you guys have for us.
yeah.
Throw some ones in the chat if you think we should probably continue this on another time. Like, if you want us to do this again, throw some ones in the chat. But I will say, I think for me, the best advice I can give up and coming streamers is be yourself, have fun, don't compare yourself to other people, and just be kind to yourself while you are going into this live streaming world, because it's really easy to get sucked in and lost.
You have to be kind to yourself. I've had some close friends who are streamers who, externally seem so confident and, don't like super badass, but it can be hard to put yourself out there and watch playbacks, and you can like start picking yourself apart. So I've
seen a lot of people go absolutely crazy over a purple check mark.
Oh yeah. People can drive themselves insane over any number of things. I think just remembering that Twitch, as with any platform, is like one small facet of like life. So, because we've seen people get sucked down Instagram rabbit holes and all of that. So Twitch is all the same. It's like, it's just like any other social medium. It can be as amazing or as toxic as you want it to be. For myself, I really have tried to make a point to go outside and be a little physical. Shout out to the Discord Spornt Challenge.
What is sport? What is sport? I don't know that word.
It's horny, horned, spornt. It just keeps words in the Twitch dictionary. It's an evolution of lingo. But we tried to check in with each other and motivate each other to like walk or run a mile every day.
Well, that's also another great thing, is make some friends within the Twitch community if you are a streamer that are aligned with your code of ethics.
Yeah.
So that when you are starting to like feel down or whatever, you have people you can trust that you can actually talk to behind the scenes. Like Lani has been great for me with that. When I start to get like a little aggro, I get really aggro about the cheaters, guys. I'm not even gonna front. Really aggro.
Yeah.
And then I call Lani and she's like, oh, don't worry. And she like talks me off the ledge. So find your friends that are on the same level as you with what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Because I think.
And have them keep you on points.
Yeah. So the idea of community with Twitch is like, yes, we connect with each other on this platform, but now some of us are connected via Instagram or Twitch. Via Discord. And I think what's nice about that is allowing us to stay in touch, but it's not contingent on whether or not someone's streaming. So Discord is another platform that exceeded my expectations. I remember people were begging me to start a Discord, and I was like, not another app, not another thing. I'm maxed out. I'm already spent. And then people kept asking me and Club Mesh, and I was like, all right, guys, let's go in on a Discord together. And it's been such a blessing. So much fun.
Everyone's asking what purple checkmark means. That's like the verified badge. And honestly, nothing changes. I know a lot of people are like, what happens after you get verified? You get more emote slots, which is great. I love going ham on. We both have so much fun with our emotes.
Yeah.
But literally the monetization doesn't change. Your viewer numbers don't change. If you go after that checkmark without worrying about your community, then you're still going to you're not going to see any success. Like the checkmark isn't really anything that's going to change your success on Twitch.
I have a feeling Twitch is super backlogged on partner applications because those metrics were made before the pandemic, and now everyone's home, and there's, I think, viewership for Twitch music. I saw Tiger Mom Toy Talk. I think Twitch music grew like 6 times or something.
Yeah. We saw those metrics. It's crazy.
Right.
It's like the jump is insane.
Right. So then with that also means way more people hitting partner metrics. But partner or not, like you get almost the same functions. You can monetize as an affiliate. It's just the emotes. That's like the biggest difference, I think, right?
And the other thing I'm seeing is like a lot of DJs getting so desperate for the check mark that they're starting to like kind of lose focus on like building out their stream, and they're starting to like, I don't know about you, but I get a lot of messages saying, hey, can I get a raid? Can I get a raid? I'll pay you for a raid.
People asking for raids is so like,
what I try to do is I try to return, I do boomer raids. So if you raid me, I always try to return the favor as best as I can when I can, and try to bring up streamers that I think are putting in some major work. I like to reward hard work more than anything.
Yeah.
And for me, the thing is at the end of the day, the raid isn't going to make your stream. Like,
it doesn't, because there's so much drop off. Like even within Club Mesh, right? Dial Jess, Chess Knight, and myself, like we are a crew. There's like a unifying vibe between the three of us. But even then, when we raid each other, there's still huge drop off. Like we're lucky in that there are mesh heads that like appreciate each one of us. Gotta get that mesh. But there are also a ton of other people who just only want to watch one of us, and that's just how it is. Or like Miss Ninja, there are streams where like she and I have similar genres, and I think we have a similar vibe of being welcome. But after watching your favorite streamer or a streamer for 2 hours, you might be burnt out by the time you do a raid. So raids aren't a guarantee.
And not only that though, but like, yeah, maybe you'll get that quick follow, but if your stream isn't like, if you're not bringing your best self to your stream, you might get that follow, but you're not going to get the viewer. So unless you're building a stream that can stand on its own, without raids, the raid, it's not really going to do a lot for you in the long run.
Yeah.
So another big piece of advice is don't go begging for raids. Build a stream that can stand on its own, and let the raids be a bonus.
Yeah, the raids are supposed to be like a surprise, like I didn't expect all these people to pull up like right now while like Dial Jess was on my channel. We did skincare chat and we got raided right as she was holding these like LED lights.
I saw that.
Yeah,
that was great.
So like stuff like that. That's like when the raids are fun, is when they're unexpected. And there's something really beautiful about growing your community organically, even if it might be at a slower pace than you would like. It just means that everyone's real, and
you've gotten to take the time to get to know everyone.
Right. So of course, I'm ambitious and I would love for my channel to grow because, I put in time to it, and who doesn't want to have a larger audience? And I think with having more viewers, the hope is that it takes pressure off of people who gift subs and bits, because there's more people who can throw in just a little bit at a time. That's kind of like my thought, And
I will say, like, I know me and Lani, like, we're both so grateful for everyone that has been so generous with us, because, we are definitely very happy when we're on stream. We're just happy people.
Yeah.
But this pandemic has affected us like everyone else. We're not making an income. All of our gigs got canceled. The only reason we're actually like able to make ends meet is because of the kindness of you guys.
I mean, like there are some streams. So
a lot of people, I think we get paid by Twitch. Twitch doesn't pay us.
No, like there's a little bit of ad revenue, but it's pretty nominal. It's like $10 or something for a week.
Well, because we're playing music, which is copywritten, so we don't get to generate revenue from ads.
Oh yeah, we don't get.
Gamers get to do that. We don't get ad revenue because everything we do gets muted, and because of that, all of our ad revenue goes to the record labels.
That's why. Yeah. Okay. So, well, so we mentioned that we are lucky enough that we can pay our rent and basic bills off of streaming. But there are some streams where like I just know I'm not going to make like money or a significant amount. Like there are some streams where I'll be streaming for 4 hours to 200 plus people. And at the end of the stream, like the next day I look and I literally made like $40. And $40, I'm still, again, very grateful for that. But I think that the number of people viewing and all that, it's so random.
And again, someone else said this, but if you're live streaming for the revenue, if you're in this for the money,
you'd be sorely disappointed.
You're gonna be very disappointed. Like don't stream with the hopes of becoming like a billionaire or like even like being comfortably, like making a comfortable income. Right. Do it for the love of streaming. Don't do it for the money.
Right. And what I'll say about that too is it just also makes us especially grateful for the bits, subs, tips, donations that we do get, because sometimes all it takes is one person to come in and they can just change like our financial situation for that day,
And it like when you see us like overcome with gratitude, it's really like real because you've impacted our lives.
Right. And
at that point.
And because I think we've talked about this, neither of us expects anything from our audience. Like it's always,
what can I give
yeah.
today? What can I give to my audience today?
Yeah. Let me light you a little better.
I know I'm darker skin tone. So, but should we ask if the audience has any questions?
Yeah, let's take questions. And I want to be sensitive to your time too. Do you still have time to hang out?
I have all the time in the
Lani
world.
Love
My
Shack?
audience knows that. I tend to go on.
Okay.
Don't leave this up to me. We'll be here all night.
In Constant Pro, you're absolutely right. You want to have a bigger strategy beyond just streaming revenue. So that's why with Club Mesh, we've got merch, which isn't really the moneymaker, but I think you'll see us working to put out original music and kind of growing
There's a lot of
our
questions.
experience. Okay, so if there's a question that you want to,
let's try to bang through some of these. Okay, E from DC says, when the nightlife industry comes back, are you going to stay on Twitch or go back to venues?
Oh yeah,
or both?
I saw Privy Council ask that as well. I plan to keep streaming even when clubs open again.
I'm like in love with you guys. So I'm actually going to cut down on the gigs that I take in real life and make streaming a big priority because I'm enjoying this so much. My life has been so improved by you guys. I'm not going anywhere. You guys are stuck with me.
I plan to
You're
stream,
stuck with both of us.
Yeah, I'm planning to stream even when things reopen because some of you we might not get a chance to party together in real life. So knowing that is motivation for me to keep streaming. Also, some of the things I talked about, like being able to have fun with overlays and design experience and share things like plants, cooking tips, styling tips. That's stuff that I can't do at just a regular DJ gig. Like I can't DJ at a bar and be like, by the way, fun tip about recycling and propagating plants. Did you know? Like that's not, people just want to turn up at the club.
You could do it. You'll just never get booked there again.
Yeah, exactly. I could do it. And it just.
Let's see. Privy Council, when you play your own music, is that different in terms of revenue, copyright versus stuff? I think so. Yeah. Because it won't get flagged, but then you'd have to do a whole set of that.
Yeah, you'd have to do a whole set of original non-copyrighted music to be able to get ad revenue. So that one or two songs or even a dozen songs isn't going to make a difference.
I love this question from Kapiki. Do you remember the people in the chat, especially when they start typing randomness, maybe because they're a little tipsy, asking for a friend?
Oh, I definitely remember when people get like...
Oh, we know you guys. We know you guys.
Yeah, I think like...
we think about you when we're not streaming.
Yeah, there are times when, I'm like, oh, I would love to have some more people tune in. But then I'm like, no, I love where I'm at. And I like the pace that I'm growing at because I remember literally everyone that comes in. Like, I can be like, oh, you were here last weekend. And I remember saying your name out loud or stumbling to say your name out loud. But yeah, we remember. And then and when there's sometimes when people will unfollow and then refollow to get a shout out, I'm like, I already know you were here. Yeah, you were
I
here.
remember you.
I'm on to you.
We remember you.
I remember when people
we're women
come into the
we
chat
remember.
drunk. Yeah.
We've got great memories, guys. We have to remember every song that was ever written since like 1940. You don't think we're going to remember your screen name? Come on.
Let's see what else. Was there anything else that we thought would be helpful too for streamers or just interesting for viewers to know about our behind the scenes?
I know one thing we want to talk about is like, okay, I'm going to again be super candid, guys. I might get some hate mail. Don't at me on this. But I think one thing that's been really crazy is the whole female factor.
Yeah.
Where people like...
Actually, you know what? Okay, that's funny that we're going to talk about it now at the tail end because I think anytime as female DJs or women in music, if you do a chat with like a male interviewer, they will always ask you about being a female DJ. That's like the first question. You get it all the time and you're just like,
I'm a DJ. I'm just a person.
Yeah.
I'm not a female DJ. You're not a male DJ. We're all just DJs.
Yeah. But it is a unique experience and something worth talking about. So we'll do that now.
Yeah. All right. So the thing that ticks me off is how, people will like discredit female DJs, but the second you're successful, then they attribute it to like your looks and not your talent. Like, oh, you're a girl. People like looking at you. That's why you're having success.
Yeah. I was in a like battle once and this guy wrote on Twitter, he's like, you only got where you are because of your looks. And my friend Bounce Castle was like, well, that's kind of a compliment, you know, it's like backhanded, but sure.
But like my whole life, I've never been like propped up on what I look like. In
Oh.
fact, like we've both been dorks our whole lives.
Yeah.
You know, so like we've all had to like, I think I can't speak for you, but like
Yeah.
I know I've had to like really never bank on what I look like. I've always like worked on like my personality or my talent or
Right.
my intelligence or things like that, because early on I was picked on when I was younger.
Yeah.
And it made me realize like all this popularity stuff and what you look like, you can't control that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you're really putting all of your eggs in that basket on something that like you have no control over
And changes with time.
and changes with time, like that's a really like if you're fortunate enough to do that, be able to do that,
Right.
great. But like I wasn't given that privilege, you weren't given that privilege.
Yeah.
But now that we're finding some success, now having people attribute it to that is just such a slap in the face.
Right. Yeah, because it's
Because I'm not a model. I'm
Right.
5'2".
Right.
You know, like
I mean, luckily, I feel kind of unfazed by some of the comments because it's just, I've been DJing for 13 years, so I'm just used to dudes and haters making dumb comments, even having a couple idiots. So I've had an idiot once, he meant to talk shit, like forward my story to someone with some hater comments, but he replied to my story and I was like, oh my God, are you serious? And then I've also had somebody or one person, a repeat offender, he meant to talk shit about me, but he texted me both times. And then both times was like, oops, wrong text. Sorry, I'm just having like a bad day. You know, I'm like, you're just a really negative person.
Well, I think also the other hard thing is like all of these guys have their homie crews and they're helping out their homie crews. So they have like these advantages where they're all like helping each other move forward. And there's very, very few females that can like permeate those crews. But when we do by our own talents, then we're discredited by superficial stuff.
Yeah,
And then, you know, I think, and this is where I'm going to turn it into a positive. I think
Yeah.
what Twitch has done is it's allowed us to show what we're made of. Like,
Right.
you know, our skill level, our ability to multitask, our ability to work with tech, you know, all these things that most of the time I think a lot of the guys would have written off and been like, oh, her boyfriend must do that.
I know.
You know, like
So-
things like that we've all done ourselves.
Right.
We've gotten to like show that, no, this is us.
There's so much tech that cables, never ending cables. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And for both of us, we've done it independently. We have supportive partners, but they don't know how to do any of this. So we can confidently say that like, yes, we've set this up. DJing and even like DJ / now streamer culture, there's always a boys club that happens. There's obviously a lot of really great male DJs that uplift others regardless of gender, like Bird Peterson, Mike 2600, Bounce Castle are like some of the homies. Ninth Stage, like Aviate Music, all really amazing DJs that like uplift people just based off of like their vibe and their music. But then there are other DJs where they're just like, this is my crew of homies.
This is my bro. I'm going to help my bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my bro on, even though his stream sucks. He's my bro, so like, let's do what we can to get him, you know, partnered or viewers or whatever.
And 99% of the time, we as females are not part of those crews.
Yeah.
So we have to work. I would say I have to work, you know, like 20 times harder to get 1/8 of the, you know, the reward.
Right. And okay, so I think I work hard and there are challenges I overcome, whatever. I think what I'm just so grateful for is the fact that I'm even able to be a presence on Twitch. So I know there's like a look that does well on social media, whether it's Instagram or Twitch. There's like a vibe that just instinctively people will be like, oh, that's like hot or cute and I want to tune in. And that's like a look that I can present myself with, but it's not one that I like really like live in, you know, like I kind of do it for special occasions and whatever. But I think my I want streaming to be sustainable. So I'm just wearing what I like to wear. So
yeah, like getting to DJ in gym clothes for the last 3 months of my life has been heaven.
And so the fact that I'm still able to have people tune in, even though I wear glasses almost all the time, and then talk about an astigmatism and stuff like that.
I have an astigmatism too.
Astigmatism, gang, you know? But like that to me is really fun and magical, and I'm very grateful for that.
And again, like this is what I'm really grateful for, is that I've actually gotten to see the counterparts in our community that aren't about, you know, like the clicks or the, you know, the chase of image or whatever. I've gotten to see like who's really in it for the love of the music and the love of the community. And it's actually made it super clear to me like who I want to align myself with.
Yeah. Earl Grey asked, he's seen people get a $1,500 camera, $1,500. Do you think it's helpful, worth the money? I think not, because the audio quality matters more than the camera. Like, yes, there's really beautiful quality that can come out of an expensive camera, but let's remember we're streaming over internet and it's only goes so far. It's getting compressed. So why would you spend so much money on quality that's getting compressed that people aren't even going to be able to see?
I want to throw it back to you guys. So my camera, I just upgraded my camera, but my camera is still like $500. So it's not like a $2,000 camera. It's like as far as like a SLR, a single lens, whatever it is, mirrorless. It's fairly on the low end, but I think my stream quality looks great, and Lani's stream looks amazing, and she's on an iPhone. So I'm going to throw it back to you guys. When you're watching streamers and you're watching Lani on an iPhone, or
actually maybe that's the question. Is my stream look okay?
Yeah, like do our streams look okay to you guys? Because we're not using the $2,000 cameras. How do you guys feel about the way our streams look compared to other people's streams?
Yeah.
Let's see what they have to say about that. Flip the script. Let's see what you guys say. Good lighting. And yeah, I agree. I talked about that on Tweak Music Tips. Really, honestly, if you have a clean looking environment and good lighting, that's more important, I think, than the camera.
Yeah.
And sound.
Ronnie said the conversation about colon health is what keeps them coming back.
Colon health. You talk about colon health?
No, because so I was talking about spirits that I like to drink. So yes, there's, you know, White Claw and the hard seltzers, but I feel like it's hard seltzers and then there's hard kombucha, higher ABV, really refreshing and tasty. And then one time I talked about it and I was like, and set your colon free.
I'm not going to lie. I really enjoyed the hard kombucha.
I put her on to Nova. Yeah.
You have to set yourself a limitation on how long you can stream on those days.
They sneak up on you.
Because, well, for multiple reasons. Because they really do work for your gut health. Poo talk. You never know what's going to happen with Ninja and Lani, guys.
Yeah. Oh, someone just unmuted as I said, set your colon free. Dope. Soup's cool.
All right. Do we have any more hard-hitting questions from the chat before this goes completely off the rails?
I think
Poo-poo gang. Ridka says poo-poo gang.
Uh-oh. Here, I'll let you see if we have any follow-up questions. I'm going to replug up this camera.
Okay, cool. Lani's going to get set up because she is going to stream again. Guys, the party is not over. Lani's going to party hardy, and then I'm going to actually jump back on the decks. So it's a rager. It's literally a rager. Also, get squatty potty for yourself. I actually do have a squatty potty. I am Breezy Panda. I do. I love it. I love my squatty potty. It's the best thing ever. I hear the production department laughing. It's very comfortable.
Sponsored. Be the first DJ sponsored by Squatty Potty.
They will be my sponsor. That'll be great. I love it. Tommy Potty.
I was like, wait, let's make Nis Ninja the first DJ to get sponsored by Squatty Potty.
I think a collaboration between the kombucha and the Squatty Potty.
Yeah, actually, it'd be a brilliant brand partnership.
That would be great. I know. You know, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, sometimes I want to have these conversations with people and I'm like, but where is the TMI line? Because I've gotten so comfortable with everyone.
You know, I think actually you and Chess Knight could have that in common. Chess sometimes has like her chat, you know, no topic is off limits.
I feel like I want to do a stream one day where I just like take the TMI line further and further and see like what the drop off is with viewers. Or maybe it'll go up. Like we just don't know. We might have to experiment with this a little bit.
Yeah, you just don't know.
Oh, what's the spray that you spray in your toilet? That's Poopery, guys. If you don't think I own Poopery, you're sadly mistaken. I have Poopery and a Squatty Potty. I have the most comfortable situation in the world.
All the accessories.
Yep, Poopery. E from DC is like challenging me to do the TMI line challenge. I'm gonna extend that challenge to everyone. All right, guys. Seriously though, any more questions? You have us here. We're slightly tipsy. You could ask us anything.
That's true. She's got.
I'm
White
strangely
Claw
sober
mezcal.
at this point. My body metabolizes alcohol way too fast.
That's
like I'll hit a really good crumbly point and then it's like gone.
That's impressive because you're a petite lady.
No, I have a ninja. My metabolism is also a ninja.
Yeah.
Don't use straight peppermint oil in the toilet. All right, Kevin with a T. I won't do that.
Tevin.
Kevin with a T. Is that what that means? Is
Yeah,
it
that's Tevin.
Oh my
Can
god.
we talk
For
a minute?
Girl,
I want to know your name. Can we talk? You know, yeah, CVS banger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karaoke time with Ninja and Lani.
All right.
I guess I have no more questions for us. They just want to hear us sing.
Awesome. So karaoke hour. We'll pick it
okay.
up.
Wait, there's a question for Flav of Vibes. Asked, thank you, Earl Grey Esquire. By the way, you're such a goat. He's such a goat. I made him a goat emote.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so sweet. Yes.
Do you prefer subs, bits, or tips? I've spoken to other DJs, and the consensus seems to be subs because it grows their viewer base. I don't know. Like, I'm honestly grateful for whatever anyone wants to do. Like, I don't care. You know, it's just I appreciate it no matter what. But I'll give you the breakdown on what each one does.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I can't even pick a favorite because it's all like I don't expect any of it, right? So all of it's so helpful, but each in a unique way. So
first of all, hype trains. Let's talk about that for 2 seconds. When we get hype trains, the reason it's so amazing is because it builds the energy in the chat, but also it pops us to the top of the viewer list. So
it does.
Yeah, we become more discoverable during a
a
hype train. And that's why whenever you see a DJ that's in the middle of a hype train, like they start to get more and more followers.
What the heck?
Yeah. So when you guys give us hype trains, it actually helps us build our channel. So it's huge for us. Subs are great because the more subs we get, the more emotes we can unlock for you guys. And it is a bit of clout, I guess. You know, like having a channel with a lot of subs.
Well, with subs, I think it's fun to give subs because you're building a connection with the people that you got was on the receiving end of your gift.
But also your emotes then float around the Twitchiverse.
Yeah, and there's more emotes to float around. Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys know this. I haven't even told you this yet. I've been telling my channel. I don't know if you guys know, but on your iPhone, you can actually use your Twitch emotes as stickers. You can text people with Twitch emotes on your iPhone.
So I'm actually making a list of Twitch tips for viewers, and that's one of them.
Yeah,
is that you can use
it's the greatest thing.
Yeah.
So if you, I'm sure we'll talk more about how you do that. But you can
viewer guide coming soon.
So that's the great thing about subs is you get the emotes, you get ad-free viewing, you support the streamer. There's a lot of benefits for you as the viewer when you sub. So it's good for you, it's good for us. And it really does help build a sense of community throughout the Twitchiverse because when you use our emotes in other people's chats, then, it's
visibility.
It's visibility for us.
Yeah.
The bits are great because obviously, one, they contribute to the hype trains. And for every 1 bit you give us, that's like a penny. So every 100 bits is $1. And that it adds up pretty fast.
Right. So with the bits, we get to keep 100% of it. Every bit that you give to us is a bit that we get to keep. And then for subs, we get 50% of that revenue.
Right. And then for tips, that's like, so if you tip through Streamlabs or through PayPal, they take like a 3% fee or something like that. When you Venmo tip us, that's 100% like to us as a streamer. So every different avenue of support has its own benefits to us and to you guys. So we just appreciate all of it.
Right. So it's just whatever makes you happy.
But I do love the subs because I love seeing you guys use the emotes. We work really hard on our emotes, so like having you guys support us and then use our emotes, I think like we geek out over it.
Yeah, I think it's really like a balance of both. That makes it so
like
beautiful.
if you come into my channel and then I can tell everyone to like drop your emotes, like I love getting
That's
to do
true.
that and see your emotes float around in my channel.
Yeah.
You know, so it is a fun way also to support your favorite streamers by
Right.
giving their, you know, their emotes visibility.
And hopefully you know by now, if you have Amazon Prime, Jeff Bezos is trash. But
True that, girl.
put your Amazon Prime account to work and use it to subscribe to one channel every month. It doesn't automatically renew, so you have to manually, pick a channel to subscribe to with your Prime account.
Exactly.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't talk trash on a Bezos owned platform, but it's fact.
If you're making that much money, guys, you really should be taking care of your employees.
Yeah. Seriously.
I think is that it for us?
I think
for
that's
now?
a good note to end on, hating Jeff Bezos.
And I'm gonna
Just
give
kidding.
myself a shout out. I would
Yes.
love for you guys to if you've enjoyed the talk, feel free to give me a follow. I'm DJ Miss Ninja on Twitch. Of course, you guys know the legendary Lani Love. If you're from my channel, thank you already for following Lani Love and the Club Mesh fam. We just are all about the same vibe. This is the only reason we're here today is because we're trying to promote the same sort of good vibes throughout the Twitchiverse.
Yeah. Thank you so much to Miss Ninja. I really appreciate you joining me
This
on
has
my
been so
stream,
fun, Lani.
driving over to the house, hanging out. Thank you to everyone who came from her channel, Club Ninja Army. Very much appreciate having you here. To the Mesh Heads, Wholesome Crew, I am obviously always grateful to have you in the chat. And silent listeners and lurkers, we see you and appreciate you too.
And we respect your privacy. I see a lot of people trying to call out lurkers. I'm like, dude, don't do that. Like, let people enjoy
I
the
honestly
stream however they want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Some people just don't want to be like, even I don't like to jump in the chat all the time.
I've been lurking actually more recently just because I feel like I've expended so much energy streaming. Like I just sometimes want to listen to music a little more passively.
Same.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm lurking because I don't want people to know I'm there. It's that I just really want to enjoy the music without either drawing attention from the streamer.
And I'm trying to avoid carpal tunnel.
Yeah, seriously.
Gotta take a
Real.
break from typing. So, all right. Well, Miss Ninja, we will let her get on her way. I'm going to DJ for a little bit. When she gets back to the crib, she'll fire up her stream. We'll raid her. And yeah, we're just going to continue the good vibes.
Keep the good vibes coming, guys. All right, Lani.
Thank you.
DJ Lani Love.